Y'all live now. Just to let you know. You live. You live.
All right.
Trying to find the break.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello on a Saturday. It is the third day of Destination Herf, and we are here with Izzy Martinez from TUX Cigars. Hi, Izzy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Am I a lucky man? Beautiful women. They have two guys, but I said no, I'd rather have the beautiful women with me.
We're going to be doing a cut mic. We're going to have some conversation about who is TUX Cigars, how he got started in the industry, and he's going to show you some of his fantastic photos. I have this one, which I'm going to be putting in lighting, and then this is yours. And we can start off with you talking about the one you're smoking, and then we'll do.
Excellent. Excellent. We'll leave the first one for last. So, about a year and a half ago, I started thinking about coming out with my own cigar, and I was debating it. And I have a few friends that know that my family were in the cigar business in Cuba, obviously in Las Villas, not in Pinar del Rio. And I remember as a kid, stealing the cigars and chewing on them and lighting them up and, so on and so forth. Then when my dad passed away, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And a good friend of mine said, I'm going to hook you up with a good factory in Nicaragua and Estelí. And that's how it started. And it started as a hobby. I see it that, like a lot of people ask me, how many stores do you have right now? In a year, I have 8 stores. But it's not the quantity for me, it's the quality. All the stores are amazing. Actually, there's 3 owners of 3 of the cigar shops here right now celebrating with us. And that's what I look for. It started out with 1,000 cigars, and this year I'm just a little bit over 10,000 cigars, and I just ran out again. So 10,000 cigars is not a lot of cigars for a lot of the big, the big manufacturers. But for me, the first year, it's worked out very, very well. I've had very good response, and and hanging out with all you guys, ladies of the Leaf and Miami, the other divas, cigar divas, and all those groups. They're totally amazing people.
Awesome. So, since we are all with the same, you told us, tell us about this one, and we have our honey. Yes, we do.
Yes.
And because I've been to Cuba, so I want you to tell the people about the marriage between the two in Cuba.
What happens is that a long time ago, we were talking one time, and they were talking about how they used to dip the honey in the cigar in the honey and so on and so forth. So I said, that's pretty good tasting, with the sweetness and so on and so forth. And then I was quickly corrected by my family, and they said, well, back in the early 1900s, back when the tobacco in Cuba was, #1 in the world. They said the reason that those guajiros or those Cuban, I call them rednecks, Cuban rednecks that made the cigars, the reason they used to dip it in the honey, they said it was to use the honey as a filter. And what it did was, supposedly, what it did is capture all the impurities of the cigar. If it had a little bit too much ammonia, it would capture the ammonia in the honey, so on and so forth. Did it work? Don't know. I'm not that old. But I tell you this, a lot of my friends that like flavor cigars, one of the things that I've told them the story, and they love the idea of dipping the cigar, a little dip. You cut it, light it up, get that taste, and then go ahead and dip it just at that. And they love it. Actually, some of those ladies, I guarantee you, right now are carrying those little packets of honey in their purses, because that's one of the things I told them. And it was funny because I was at an event. They go, Izzy, here's the honey. We have it. And it's worked out. You buy good honey and you do a nice little dip with coffee. It's amazing. It really is.
We're going to try it out right here.
Right.
And is there anything you wanted the people to know about this particular honey?
No, it's just Florida honey. I like good honey. I usually buy it one of those natural stores here locally, and it's when you first smoke it, it is sweet, and then all of a sudden you're gonna go, wait a minute, I need to dip this again. It does bring out the flavor of the cigar a lot, a lot. I know there's people that dip in coffee and in bourbon, so on and so forth. I never dipped in anything, not even in coffee. But when I started with the honey, I said, let me try it. I've heard of this so much from my family. Let me try it. And for me, it worked. Early in the morning, I get my coffee. I get my 4-inch TUX, which is either the Maduro or the Sumatra. It comes in 4-inch. These have been a hit. And the story behind those is that when I first started with the cigars, I said, you know, I'm going to go into a business that there's thousands or millions of cigars, and I'm going into a very competitive market. So let me come up with some type of theme before I go into and before I do the cigar. And my thing was coffee pairing with coffee. And here's the reason I did that. You have 100 cigar smokers, and you put them lined up, and you ask them, how many smoke? And they're gonna, percentage. It's gonna say whiskey, bourbon, vodka. Where you're gonna go down the line, you're gonna have your small percentage. At the end, ask them, raise your hand if you don't drink coffee. You're gonna have out of 100 people, you're gonna have 4 or 5 that said, I love coffee, but my stomach doesn't handle it very well, but I love coffee. So I have 96 people that like it, and so far, my friends, so good. So tell me, what do you taste? What do you, huh?
So I am a beautiful full body. Even if the honey wasn't there, it's pleasing to me for a couple of things. For this to be,
Yes.
it's surprisingly not the hit in the head you would get. And of course, if you're not used to smoking a squirrel, then you would get that. But this is so bright, cold draw, bright.
When it gets to the middle, it's going to pick up a little bit. Mm-hmm. I usually start my cigars not very light, but right under a medium. And then I start to build it up towards the middle of the cigar. And the reason is I pick up a real strong cigar. And sometimes I just go, now this is too much for me. Yeah. And I pretty much put it in the trash. I don't want people doing that. I want people to get to that portion. They don't like the cigar. They don't like the cigar, but I want them to experience the whole entire cigar before they come up with some, they critique the cigar. But I'm telling you, the honey and with coffee, if you're a coffee drinker, oh my God.
I really like it myself, and I agree with Cheryl. On the retro hair, it's amazing.
You like it?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's another secret to it. All right. So when I started making the cigars in Nicaragua, I spoke to the guys over there in the factory. It's a small hole-in-the-wall factory, but they're totally amazing. The name is Lanusa Cigar Factory, Raul Lanusa. Young guy, worked for Drew Estates for, I think it was from 2016 to 2020. He is an amazing individual. He is going to be, keep your ears open for Raul Lanusa. He's going to be a big boy one day, very young guy. So he said, you mind if I put them in empty barrels of rum? And I said, I don't want infused. He goes, no, not infused. We're going to stick them in there, and we're going to cure them for 10 days in empty barrels of rum, so it'll pick up the teak and the actual rum flavor, not the alcohol. Alcohol is gone. Alcohol evaporates, but what you smell inside the barrel is the actual great taste of rum. So every cigar that I have, they go through that process. They go 10 days in the barrels, and once they come out, I'm telling you, people cannot figure out what is that taste? What is that thing? So at the beginning, it was a big secret, and then I decided to go ahead and just let everybody listen. They're the rum barrels. It's not a big secret in the industry. For me, it's worked, and that's about it.
So, Izzy, tell us about this particular one we're smoking.
What's the construction?
Yeah, give us.
It's pure Ometepe, Condega. It has Oscura, Nicaragua Oscuro, and and a lot of people ask me, how do you get that color? Do you paint the cigars? And I said, no. and they can't believe it. But the funny thing is, after you smoke the cigar is still the same color. Because if it was painted, really, what you're going to get is you're going to get a different color, and then on top of that, you're going to get some ink in your lips and your hands, so on and so forth. So you'll notice when you finish the cigar, you're not going to have that. So they cure it it's a process that takes sometimes up to 16 hours. And what they do is they cook molasses, and with the vapor from the molasses, so on and so forth, they cook for 16 hours, and they come out with that color. It's just like, it has a little shine to it.
It does.
And people ask me about the shine. Hey, is it oil? I like that oily cigar. Well, it has something to do with coffee. And it's not infused with coffee. It's something that we do with the coffee bean, and it creates a slime. And the slime does not taste like anything, but it gives it a hell of a shine. And I like it because it's all natural.
Molasses is big palate for me.
You like it?
With this?
Yeah.
And for our regulars, I'm pairing with the Hemingway High Rye.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pairing with what is it? Dr. Mary's green leaf.
Awesome.
Yep.
The smell is killing me on both ends.
This
And I'm not talking about the cigar. I'm talking about the drinks. I haven't.
But I'm looking forward to smoking with coffee, drinking with coffee, pairing it with coffee as well.
Well, and here's the other thing that I came out with. There's a lot of the females that I met throughout the years in the cigar shops. They always say, well, can they come out with a cigar that we don't have to smoke it like this, like the guys or whatever? And I said, all right, I'm going to do a Lancero. There's a million Lanceros out there. This Lancero is 7.5 by 38, which is the original Lancero, the Cuban Lancero. And those that don't know, I'm going to tell you that Fidel Castro smoked Lancero. If you go to Google and you Google Fidel Castro cigars, 99% of the time you're going to see it with a Lancero. That's what he smoked. That's not the reason I did it. Trust me, that's not the reason I did it. I did it because I wanted to create a cigar, especially for the females that can smoke this cigar, that I also made a wooden mouthpiece that extends. I don't have it here. It's back at the booth. And what happens is now you can go ahead and smoke the cigar like this, elegantly. You're all dressed up. You don't want to smoke, the cigar like this. So you dress up. You have a 7.5 with a mouthpiece. And here you are smoking like this.
and the
It's
tips
very
are
feminine.
beautiful.
It's very feminine.
And what wood did you use?
This is all Nicaragua. It's all Nicaragua, Ometepe, Condega. It has a double wrapper. If you notice, it has a little darker wrapper. Well, I didn't do the double wrapper for flavor. I did it more for looks. But some people tell me I like the taste of the mouth of the head of the cigar.
Yes.
I like that taste on that you did there at the end. So it's worked both ways. And not because they're my cigars, it's worked out. I enjoy it. If I wouldn't have enjoyed it, I would have put them in a drawer and locked them up and said, you have no business doing this. We came up with each cigar has 7 different blends. We sat for about a week, a friend of mine and I, and we smoked 14 cigars. And he came up with a blend for another cigar that he had, and I came up with the blends for all these 5 cigars. I made it for the consumer. I really didn't make it for myself. But it turned out that, like my wife says, if you keep smoking your own cigars, you're not going to be able to sell them.
So is it what do we have to look forward in 2025 from
Well, I'm going to give you a little tip. I have 5 cigars right now. Okay. It doesn't mean I'm not going to have 10 different cigars in the future. I want 6 cigars. They're manageable. I can keep them stocked, and I can get good feedback on all my cigars. If I create 10 cigars right now, different cigars, and 4 of them are not really selling, what am I going to do with it? I'd rather have 6 cigars that sell than 10 cigars that 4 don't sell. So in 2025, I'm coming up with two projects. One is for the Burnt Leaf Lounge. I'm coming out with a cigar. It has San Andres wrapper. It is amazing. It's also a double wrapper at the tip. It's a beautiful cigar, and it's gonna, I'm telling you that that cigar is going to be a hit. George from Burnt Leaf Cigars asked me, would you do a cigar for me? And I'm looking at him going, you want me to do a cigar for you? He goes, I want you to do a cigar for me. So it's in the process right now. And that's going to be amazing. Now, here's the last thing that I have as far as my cigars. I'm coming up with a cigar, and it's going to be, the name is going to be called more or less Unity. And now you're going to ask me, why Unity? Right? Why Unity? Well, let me explain. In the band that we are creating is something similar to black hand and a white hand. Okay? So people go, why'd you come up with that? Oh, you're trying to hit the black market or the white market. No. Think about this. You go into a cigar shop, and it don't matter if you're black, green, yellow, Muslims, Catholic, whatever it is. You go into the right.
Say it.
You go into a cigar shop, and no matter what your beliefs are, you leave them outside the door. You smoke the cigar. You have a great time. You play dominoes with a bunch of crazy Cubans here in Miami, and then once you step out of that threshold, out those doors, you can think and you can say whatever you like. That is your problem. But when it comes to the cigar shop, that's one thing that's never been done, and I am going to do it this year. I was encouraged by both sides, by the black community and by the whites. They say that is an excellent idea, and I'm telling you, I have a lot of excited people behind it. And that's about it. I'm also doing a third project, I forgot, for the Middle East, and that's going to be probably towards the end of 2025.
So tell the people, and I'm going to put your box up so people can recognize the branding for your cigar. Tell people where they can find your product.
Excellent. If you go to www.tuxcigars.com, it has a list of all the retailers that have it right now. They only a couple of them will ship to you. I am working on 2 online stores right now that they're probably going to be up within the next couple of months, from Mad About Cigars, who is with me here today as one of my retailers assisting me. Mad About Cigars in Doral, Florida. They will ship to you. They are finishing up their website, a beautiful website, and you can call them up and they will ship anywhere in the U.S. and outside the U.S., anywhere. And that's about it. I mean, I'm really having a great time out here. Destination Herf is like totally. I'm a truthful kind of guy, and I'll take my glasses off. I didn't think it was going to be this fun. Okay, and sometimes people tell you, we wish we would have had 300 people. Again, sometimes it's not the quality of the quantity; it's the quality of people. I've met people here that are just totally amazing people, like yourself, which I met last Wednesday at La Gitana Cigar Lounge in Hollandale, which is another gorgeous place. Gorgeous. So it's a list. It's Casa Humo in Doral. It's in Southwest Dade. We have one that's called District Cigars. I'm telling you, the cigar bars that I have, or lounges, they're totally amazing. I'm also going to do, just for you guys to know, is that every year in one of the shops, which is a totally beautiful location, it's big, I do Motown Throwback Night. And that's where all this came from. So you get to dress up like back in the Soul Train days, okay? And we get to hear the music, enjoy the music.
I think you're threatening us with a good time.
I think you're all going to be invited. And we have that once a year, and it's always a smash. People love it. They get to listen to that old music. That's my music. But,
Last thing. There's a little conversation going on right now. So for this one, let's talk about the ash. Top questions from new smokers. What color should the ash be? White? Should it look gray like this one?
It's funny you should mention that, because here, let me touch the Cuban cigar. A lot of people tell me I'm smoking a Cuban cigar, and I look at them and it says white ash, and I go, how much you pay for that? And they'll say, oh, I paid like $30, $40. And I go, they ripped you off. They ripped you off. The dark ash comes from the phosphorus in the land, in the actual dirt. And here's another thing. on that same note. People ask me, what do you look for in your cigars? Listen, no offense to anybody. Don't get, all bent out of shape. If you smoke a cigar and you taste strawberries, pineapples, and peaches, amazing. That is great. Buy my cigar and taste all those things. However, I look for two things. Number one is the taste of good tobacco, which I can taste. And number two, the taste of the dirt. And people say, you tasted dirt before? And I said, yes. When I was a kid, you didn't try dirt before? Well, I did, and I don't forget. Well, the thing is, you want that earthy taste. That's what I want, and that's where the ash came from. That's a yeah.
That's
Good
good
construction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them know that burn is not indicative of the cigar. It's the wind.
It's the-
No, we're out here in the wind and everything else. I'm gonna send you guys pictures of smokers that send me pictures every day, and I try to post all the pictures. I try to post as many pictures as I can on the daily basis, for everybody. And I like to advertise. Okay, this is my thing. You advertise for me, I advertise for you. You like me, I like you. You forward my stuff, I forward your stuff. So people ask me, why would you advertise the competition? You know why? Because they advertise me, they've helped me get to where I'm at, so I can only be grateful about it. This is not a sweet, violent talk. This is the way I am. This is easy. This is not, and that's just the way I am. Yeah. And I'm having a great time over here. I really am.
Now, I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
And that's for the general audience that just got exactly what you said. And that question is, you address Cheryl's question about the color of the tobacco once it's burned, white or gray or dark gray.
Myself.
And the reason, because a lot of people don't know that, and even if they're smoking a Cuban cigar, the white ash that they get, and of course the land that is growing on the soil.
Absolutely.
Can you just break that down
Yes,
just a little bit more?
depending, on the phosphorus and the minerals and all the stuff that the land has. That's depending on the actual cigar. Okay, so on my cigars, the only one that burns a little bit on the white side is the Lancero. Everything else, it's very, very close to the Cuban color, the color of the Cuban cigar ash. Okay. Here's the other thing. People ask me prices. Okay. Yeah, I can charge more for my cigars. They go from $9.50 to $12 a stick. Right? It's within range. And people ask me, why not? I'm going to tell you why. I'm an open book. I don't hide. I can create a much nicer box than this. All my boxes are different colors. When they put them in a humidor, everybody levitates towards the colored boxes. So I said, no, each one is going to be a different color on the boxes. They're $7. That's what I pay for the box. It's not a secret. People go, why do you have to tell me? I don't care. But it's $7. Now, if I make a $15, $20 box that you're going to be able to save, I'm selling you $60 worth of box and $40 worth of product. And it ain't gonna happen. You either like my cigar or don't like my cigar. But if you like it, I'm not selling you a box, I'm selling you the product. Bottom line.
And let's just talk about, first of all, it's TUX. And I want people to see the human too. Your buttons that come on at TUX, they get into it. So that was genius.
Yeah. And my headquarters out of Bonita Springs, Florida. I have a second home there, and that's where the headquarters is at. But most of it is all in Dade and Broward. I love Dade and Broward are awesome. Broward, the guys in Broward, they rock. I mean, these guys are amazing. The guys in Dade also. You got to visit those people. But www.tuxcigars.com. It shows you a bunch of pictures and events, car shows. I put them all together. I love doing it. I don't charge for it. I love doing the cigar stuff.
Where did the name TUX come from?
Well, very easy. Came from this cigar. When I saw this dark cigar with the white band, and I said, it didn't have a name, but I wanted a white band. And I said, that looks like a TUX. That's how I came up with the TUX. Now, Kuro, you see here, it says Kuro and Martinez. Martinez is my last name. Kuro is a nickname for my dad. My dad passed away about 16 years ago, and I did it in his honor and the family. And I still have a couple of them that are still alive, and they're super proud. They call me to get free cigars the whole year round. So, hey, you guys rock, man. I really, you know, people say, I really didn't have to say it, but I have to say it. This has been an amazing time out here. The other night at La Gitana was just another great night. Beautiful place. Dorian and Yvonne are amazing owners, and you know the hospitality there is just amazing. And you can give me a call, 305-812-6595. It's on my website. But not only for sales, if you're out of town and you're going to be in Miami, you give me a call. I don't charge. I'm not a tour guide. I'll make sure that I hook you up with the best cigars lounges in Miami-Dade, the Keys, and in Broward.
Wonderful.
The Keys are nice too.
All right, folks.
All right.
Izzy, thank you so much for joining us.
I don't want to leave. I got beautiful ladies here. There's another beautiful lady in front of me. I don't want to leave.
We're looking forward to smoking in unity as well. What a night.
Amazing.
Awesome concept. This community is cohesive in that way. I've sat with people diverse from my political beliefs, their political beliefs were diverse. And you know what commonality was? The love of the league.
That's it right there.
That's right.
All right,
That's it
guys.
right there. Thank you so much for the invite, and hope to see you guys again.
Thank you, Izzy.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Chris, you're done.
Yeah. How much do you think? Oh, y'all got enough. Y'all got enough for her.
Okay.
Still on.
Thank you, my brother. Man, you were one hell of a
I don't know how I did.
I know they're gonna say that was one. Did it end?
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
I greatly appreciate it.